third. The third working group we have now.
Please, if you don't mind.
Thank you so much. Dear Secretary General, we were here 2 years ago and we received me on the topic of demography. This time it's Middle East, Palestine and Israel, but it's also, I'm also in charge of demography. So this is something which is very controversial and not an easy topic for Europe.
The demography is changing.
A lot. Especially European.
And it's changing rather quickly.
Yes, but we cannot do much here. When we talk about the birth rates and
and especially given the situation in Gaza at the moment. And are you expecting any other countries to join France?
First of all, as you know, I'm representing here the European Union, and the European Union is not the entity which can recognize. But of course, since I'm in charge of Mediterranean, which is the whole region, North Africa, Gulf countries, plus the Middle East, Israel and Gaza and Palestine are now in the mid of the whole process. So what we are doing, so my role is more economic one, and diplomatic role is more for HR, VP, Kaya class. So we work together in synergy. But what we are doing with my DG, which is MENA, Middle East and North Africa, new DG, which I have now, my new service, we are financing Palestinian Authority because we think that we have to empower Palestinian Authority to be our interlocutor on the ground. So we don't consider Hamas as our interlocutor. For us, they are a terrorist organization, and we want to make Palestinian Authority empowered and strong enough in order to be able to run both West Bank and in near future, I hope, Gaza. My role is more for day after reconstruction of Gaza. This is the reason why we will be establishing in a few weeks or maybe a month in autumn a donors platform, because we think that this is very important. We will be leading it, and this was the moment during this working group during this roundtable this morning when I invited all others to join this donors platform. On Palestinian Authority matrix reform plan, which is 1.9 billion euros from 2025 to 2027. We paid a month ago 150 million euros as the first tranche to the Palestinian Authority. It is for capacity building, but it is also for the reforms, because they badly need reforms also within themselves. Same goes for UNRWA, because UNRWA at the moment, I'm just coming from the meeting with Secretary General, at the moment UNRWA is the only organization which is capable of distributing not only humanitarian aid but services. When I say services, is education, health and so on. But in future, what is our ultimate goal? We would like to see Palestinian Authority to take over these services from other organizations in order to be capable to run the country, education, health, and all long-term care and so on and so on. Of course, this is ultimate goal, but it will depend on ceasefire first, and on the negotiations between Israel and Palestine, which I hope will resume soon. So this is how we look at this situation there. So European Union is determined that two-state solution is the only solution, but it's easy to say, it's not easy to achieve, but this conference is exactly in order to prepare the conference in September for UNGA week, when we expect, of course, France, which is already announced, to recognize the country, recognize the state of Palestine. But there are also, I may say, rumors that some others will join, but I cannot tell more because they speak on themselves. They are sovereign countries, so they decide on whether they will do it or not. But I think what we are doing at the moment, we are putting pressure by everything what we on humanitarian aid and everything. The case is that Israel is not adhering to the agreement which we achieved, Kaya Kallas achieved 2-3 weeks ago. They are not always in the direction which was at that moment achieved. So which means that they opened 4 or 5 crossings, not enough. So they should make it much more propulsive. The humanitarian aid flows easily, and this is what we want to achieve. And this is where all the member states, when I talk about European, all of them are united. This is the issue where they are united. For other issues, there are differences among the countries.
And just ask one more quick question. All eyes are on Gaza, obviously, but you mentioned the West Bank. What's your sort of assessment, description of the Israeli economic policies towards the West Bank and how that might be affecting the chances of getting to a two-state solution?
First of all, there is a problem of tax revenues, as you know. There is a withdrawal of tax revenues done by Israel, tax revenues which should be paid to Palestinian Authority, to both West Bank and Gaza, which is not the case. There was an amount of money which was kept in Norway and it was released, but now for 3 months they haven't released any tax revenues which are there, which should be paid to the Palestinian Authority. Violent settlers are, of course, something which is the case on the ground, and this is not acceptable. So I cannot say more about that. Unfortunately, we have 1 or 2 rounds of sanctions against them, but for sanctions we need unanimity. And this is always a problem within the European Union. Our decision-making process is not qualified majority, as you know, but unanimity. And this creates problem also for Ukraine, also for other issues. We always have to convince member states to be on board, and this is problem.
So, thank you so much. So what are, if you can, beside what you just mentioned about what is required of Israel, what are the immediate steps that the EU is unanimous regarding what Israel needs to do right now, immediatally?
The only unanimity at the moment is on humanitarian aid. So all the member states are on board and together with us from the European Commission. So this is something where we have a joint position. On Article 2, you remember that there was a review of the Article 2 of the Israeli-European Union Association Agreement, and it was evident that they breached the agreement, but member states were not aligned in order to suspend this Article 2. Of course, just to be open, we also need a channel of communication with Israel. If we block everything, then who is interlocutor? On this side, we are looking forward to make a Palestinian Authority powerful enough. On that side, we need, at this moment, the actual Israeli government. This is the reason why this is not so easy, black and white, and to say it's. But of course, we expect that our pressure, and not our pressure, but pressure from public opinion and pressure from media, could result that Israeli will be more flexible in future. This is what we expect. Of course, by paying a lot of money to Palestinian Authority, we also make them be powerful enough. And what we are saying all the time, we don't want to be as European Union. We have a role, but at the same time, we don't want to be only a payer. We also want to be a player. And but we are aware that we cannot do it alone. So this is the reason why Gulf countries are also part of Mediterranean, my portfolio, because their interest, as well as our interest, is peace and security, and in the end prosperity. So the Gulf countries are here, and this is excellent idea that they convene this Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and France, that they convene this conference here as a ministerial conference, but this is very good introduction as a overture to the UNGA week in September. So we need also, as I said, Gulf countries, but we need also America and the American administration. We are aware that they have to be on board. And let's see what will be their next move, because sometimes they are not predictable. This is what I can say at the moment, but together with the whole international community, I think we should have a solution for this, because it's almost 80 years after UNRWA was established in order to help Palestinian people. I think there is a historic moment now, and we are mature enough seeing what's going on the ground. This might be a trigger to for pressuring also Israeli society. So this is important in order to say enough is enough.
Yes. If I may ask, how aligned would you say you are with the approach of the Gulf countries, and particularly Saudi Arabia, to this?
We do welcome, first of all, Arab. Remember that there was Arab idea how to solve the situation. Of course, without ceasefire, nothing is possible. But we are aligned in that, and we would like to follow, and we would like to engage definitely, because of course the key is how to secure, how to promise security for both Israeli and Palestinians. And this is something where we need some independent people. This is part of the Arab plan. But as I said, big condition is ceasefire, and of course, if possible, laying down of weapons by Hamas. So this is something which should be achieved. I somehow hope that this is the moment where the things will change, and that by September, although each day counts, just to be clear, each hour counts, but it's politics is the art of possible.
And I know today that the EU is discussing maybe cutting research funding to Israel and things like that, and you mentioned that for sanctions or more drastic decisions you need unanimity. Is this cut in the funding also something that requires unanimity, or are there other kind of pre-steps that the EU
Talking
can
about
take?
which funding? Horizon?
Yeah, the research.
Research and the Horizon facility.
Yeah.
So far as I'm informed, I wasn't in the meeting this morning, but so far as I'm informed, this doesn't need unanimity, but qualified majority vote. So let's see what will be concluded, but this is also a method of pressure.
And are there other methods of pressure like that that might not require
We
unanimity?
have to find out.
So, if I may ask you again, you said you don't just want to be a payer. So, can you tell us what more tools does the EU have to offer in the peace day after, whether in trade access, security guarantees, institutional frameworks that could probably give real incentives to both parties, Israelis and Palestinians, to forge ahead toward the final status agreement?
Of course, we can make it. May I mention Syria, for example? But they asked us. They don't have the know-how how to build institutions, and they ask us assistance in capacity building and in building institutions. And this is what we are offering them. Since they are a sovereign country, we don't want to interfere. Same goes for Palestine and the state of Palestine, once the conditions are met. So we are ready to assist and we are ready to help, not only financially, which we have been already doing, but also we are ready to assist. But as I said, we need preconditions for this.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is great.
Or it was 10 days ago, we had this Southern Ministerial, you remember, in Brussels, and your Minister of Foreign Affairs, she was there.
Yeah, vaccine.
I talked to her.
Yeah.
Then I saw Mustafa. I said, Palestinian Authority, strong.
Right, Tommy, whenever you're in, rush.
So just for our tape, if you could introduce yourself.
The best speech was by Hussein. The best speech was by him.
Yeah.
One homeland, two states. So,
Just for our tape, if you can introduce yourself with your name.
okay, so I start.
Yes.
I'm Dubravka Šuica, actual commissioner for Mediterranean and demography.
Sorry, Tom, just come closer to the
Yeah.
eye line. That's it, perfect. Yep, good to go. Thank you.
This is a conference to express support for a two-state solution, for recognition of a Palestinian state. The Americans are not here. They're objecting to it. They've just called it a publicity stunt. That's what the State Department says. How can this be effective without that kind of support?
Just to be open, we as the European Union, we support two-state solution, and we are trying to convince others. Of course, all 27 countries are not on the same side, but they are on the same side when we talk about humanitarian aid. And this is where we have unanimity. On other issues, we are not united, and we are working with all 27. Of course, European Union, we are paying a lot to the Middle East, to the Palestinian Authority, and our motto is we want to be players and not only payers. So this is why we think that our role should be even stronger. Of course, we are aware that we cannot solve the issue alone. This is the reason why we have Gulf countries with us. All 6 Gulf countries are part of my portfolio, because without them we wouldn't be able to solve the issue. This is the very reason why today we have not only France but also the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. But to be open and honest, without America and without American administration to be engaged, we wouldn't be capable of solving the issue. Not only solving the issue, reconstruction of Gaza, because my priority is day after to start reconstruction. This is the very reason why I announced this morning donors platform. So donors platform will be established within a month or two, and we are inviting all the countries to come on this platform to pledge money for the reconstruction of Gaza. This is what we are trying to somehow anticipate the future. Of course, I think that we are now mature enough. There is enough pressure. We need even more pressure, not only to the public in the European Union, but to the public in Israel, among Israeli society, public here in the United States. So I think that enough is enough at the moment, and little by little this pressure will help. This conference, according to my opinion, is very good preparation for the UNGA week in September, when the recognition is announced by France, but the rumor says that there are also some countries which will join. This means that, at one moment there will be enough pressure and enough public opinion which could change this, because 80 years of this conflict should be solved. So I understand your question on the United States, but even the United States and American public opinion is slightly changing so far as I see from the media.
We're seeing mass starvation in Gaza. The Israelis have said that they have started airdrops, although aid agencies have called that a grotesque distraction. We're hearing from the UN today that some trucks are getting through, but this is just being self-distributed among the population. It's not working, so food is not getting to people. So what are you as the European Commission doing to further pressure the Israelis?
I was present at the last Foreign Affairs Council, which was chaired by Kaja Kallas, who is HRVP. And she really managed to have agreement with the Israeli government in order to open crossings.
But that's not happening.
And the case is that the situation on the ground shows that it's not delivering, that they don't adhere to this agreement. And this is the reason why we are now looking to see what we can do more in order to make pressure on them. This is not acceptable what is going on the ground, especially when you look at children. But anyway, you know, I experienced the war in the country I know best, and I know what it means to run to the shelter, to be cut off electricity, telephones, TV, everything at that time, 35 years ago, running with the 8-year-old kid to the shelter. So I can understand what is going on there. But at the same time, politics is the art of possible, and this is what I'm trying to be concrete. I'm trying to, you know, that there is a big matrix reform program for the Palestinian Authority, which is 1.6 billion euros from 2025 to 2027. I signed, the other day I dispersed 151 million euros to the Palestinian Authority to help them in capacity building, to help them. But this is not enough. But Europe cannot stand alone there. This is the reason why we want to see Palestinian Authority empowered, strengthened, and we want to have interlocutor there. And us, Hamas is not interlocutor. We don't talk to them. So we need someone who is strong enough. And this is why this conference is organized also, and why I am representing the European Union.
Just to come back to that issue of aid, you talked about Kaja Kallas and the agreement with the Israelis recently about opening up to more aid. In the last couple of days, we've seen the Israelis make these announcements about humanitarian corridors. Are you seeing any tangible difference? Is this enough for you? What are you saying about what's the response to that?
There is something is going on. You cannot say that the aid is not flowing, but there is not enough at this moment. And there is also what I saw also that there is mistreatment of this. They are selling 100 kilos of flour for $100, which is unacceptable. So corruption is everywhere, also there. We are also supporting UNRWA because we think they are the only organization who is capable of distributing this aid, and also the organization which is in charge of services, education, health, whatever it may mean at the moment on the ground. So we are also paying UNRWA in order to make them be also strong enough and reformed. I had the meeting with the Secretary General a few minutes ago upstairs, so they are also thinking about reforming their agencies on the ground. What we would like to see as the final goal, I'm trying to anticipate the future, we would like to see the Palestinian Authority strong enough to take over the services from UNRWA. And this is our final goal. But for this we need ceasefire and we need negotiations.
We heard Mary Robinson in the opening statement just talk about the feeling of powerlessness that people all around the world have when they're looking at what's, you can see the pictures of inside Gaza, what's happening. Many people will see this as a 21st century atrocity. As part of the generation of leaders representing the European Commission, you know, her view was very much that you're the people that have the obligation to stop this. This is the way she was portraying this as an atrocity of our age. How do you respond to that? What is being done? Is enough being done to stop this? And given the history of support, overwhelming support that European countries have for Israel, many still arm Israel. What's being done?
This is exactly why I told you that politics is the art of possible, unfortunately. Of course, I myself also feel sometimes frustrated for not being able to do more, but we are really doing and trying to to use all our tools and all our instruments which are at our disposal to help solve this situation. For us, two-state solution is the only possibility, and I think that the moment will come. I think that we are little by little coming to that point, and I hope that September will be, although every hour, every day counts, every hour, every minute counts, since the situation is unbearable, but at the same time we need everyone on board. And this is a very good move from France and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We want to be also there. We are also, as you know, we do welcome the Arab plan for the reconstruction of Gaza, but we need preconditions for this. Let's hope that this is one step on our journey towards peace and prosperity in the Middle East.
And we just heard from the European Commission about a partial suspension of Israel from the Horizon program. Are you able to tell us about that?
Yes, there was a hybrid meeting of the college early this morning here, American time. Yes, we did it. And although we know that the Horizon program is a very good program and it helps researchers, young people, students, but at the same time, this is something how we can also show how we can put pressure to Israel, because then this part of the society will not be satisfied with the government. This is what we are trying. You know that we need unanimity, but for some issues we need only qualified majority vote. This might be the case.
Is that enough pressure, though? It's going to feel very tokenistic to some people. So
this is not enough, but I told you that for some issues like the Horizon facility, we need qualified majority vote. For example, for violent settlers, we need unanimity. And this is why we are trying to find a way how to put pressure on them.
Commissioner, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Stay where you are.
Please stay where you are for a second. It's just going to, and if you stay looking at me,
Yep. No, stay.
just stand
Mate, go back where you are, because I'm going to shoot over your shoulder.
You saw what I did
that's good.
with my 100 kilos,
I'll
pounds.
just ask you one more question while he's doing. Just tell me about the aspirations, because this is a 3-day conference. We have the Saudis and the French co-chairing this. What are you hoping to be the outcome of this conference?
What should be, first of all, is the mandate to the instrument how to go on with this process, especially we have to prepare this in advance. This is what I would like to see. Although the document is still... See you. So, but at the same